Hello there folks, welcome back to another video. This is another one of my little hobby vlogs. Been working on a few different bits and pieces over the last week or so. Doing a little bit of bits and bobs here and there, working on what kind of excited me, I guess, and has drawn me in different directions. So you will have seen me doing Space Marines last time around. Space Marines still on the cards. So if I switch things around, wow. So to get to the 500 points, I've got my Primaris Librarian there. So that guy's going to get built up and finished later in the week. And then I've also got my Intercessor squad as well. I don't know how many Intercessors I've actually built now, but yep, got the Intercessors to build as well. So that's the 2 core squads, Titus, and the Librarian and the Apothecary Biologist, all good and ready to go. But as you can see, what I've actually been working on over the last little while has actually been my Fyreslayers. So I will have, this is going to be weird and awkward. Let's go back to this. Yeah, reach down. Oh, it's behind the scenes. There we go. So if I flip that on and then go like this, you can see this in a bit more detail. So these are the Vulkyn Flameseekers that you got as a warband for Warcry, but they also have rules for use in Warhammer Age of Sigmar. They're one of the only units that I haven't got for the Fyreslayers that I've got painted up and ready to go. So these are going to be part of my 2,000 point army that I'll hopefully be using at the end of May, which will be quite cool. So these are the ones that are yet to be painted. I'm going to spend a little bit extra time working on them. I'm going to make the hair on these 2 and maybe him. Can't really see his hair, but the hair on these 2 is going to be like flame based, a bit like the little tiny Magmadroth. So that's been done just with contrast paints to blend it all together to get that sort of contrast between the different layers and levels. He's going to be finished off with black teeth and a little bit of extra work on the eyes and things like that to make him pop, but he's basically done. But then the rest of the unit is actually over here. So I bring these over, we can have a look at them. So these are, as I say, the Vulkyn Flameseekers, painted up for use in the army. Got some guys who, they're all done in the same style as my other Fyreslayers, just with a little bit more extra detail, like the black on the weapon handles, and a slightly brighter red for their cloaks and tabards. And then also went in with a contrast red over a sort of mithril silver almost on their loincloths, their tabards, to make them look a little bit cooler. So there's that guy there, looking rather nice. And then finally this lady here, which is quite cool. So, oops. And I like that we got male and female sculpts in the set, which is something that I hope is going to happen when we get to see the Fyreslayers actually fully get realised. So obviously they've been done in slightly more classic Slayer colours, but I've also done these 2 with darker skin. Whack the light up on there. So they've done with darker skin and black beards, which I think was quite cool to give a little bit of contrast in the unit and show that there are different folks amongst the Duardin as well. And I thought they turned out really nicely. He gives me off very kind of Indian vibes, like, you know, the Indian guards that would sort of watch over things like the Maharaja and things like that. So he's pretty cool. And then there is also a female version that I've done the same scheme. So I think I'm going to do this guy with the darker skin, I think, followed by him with the light skin, and I think this guy with the light skin as well, because he'll have quite a dark Magmadroth style cloak that he's wearing as well, which I think would work quite well with him. So yeah, looking forward to painting all of those. And that's kind of what I've been up to when it comes to hobby at the moment. A few other bits and pieces, I guess. So I've got a few other things that I've sort of got piled up around me. I am going to be talking about Imperium Maledictum at some point. So that's going to get some features on the channel. Of course, if you're seeing this as a member, then you're seeing this early, whereas otherwise you're seeing it later, and you can go back and find the video and watch it then. That could be kind of cool, wouldn't it? But yeah, mostly Fyreslayers and Space Marines, and that's about it at the moment. And I'll probably move on to something else again when I've got a little bit of time and my interests change. As is always the case, always be a hobby butterfly, as they say. But yeah, looking like it's going to be fun working through all of these. I can't wait to get the Flameseekers done, because then that's actually a 2,000 point army of Warhammer Age of Sigmar finished, which I think is really badass. I'm actually partly tempted to get all the Stormcast done as well. Could I do that quickly? I'm doing Anvils of the Heldenhammer, so that's a lot of black and a lot of dry brushing. Maybe I do the Fyreslayers and then I take a break and do some Space Marines, or build some Space Marines, and then I go back and I do the Stormcast Eternals. Or I finish off the Fyreslayers completely and finish another Magmadroth that I don't technically need because I'm going to run Gotrek, but maybe I should get the other Magmadroth done as well. Maybe get it built. There is a shelf of things that I need to work on. Let's actually show you that, actually. So I go up here. So this is my shelf of working. So that's the Magmadroth. Then there are spearhead bits there. So there are Rat Ogres, a Lord Celestant, and Storm Vermin there. That's the Obi-Wan squad pack for Shatterpoint. That's the Dooku squad pack for Shatterpoint. I've then got a Wizard Starter Warband for Ark World that I need to do. I'm going to do it in Discard colours and a fun little bookcase. And there's some other bits and pieces there too as well. And I also got a little Oathsworn mouse as well to work on at some point. But yeah, that's a lot of bits and pieces to be working on with. Never mind what's on my shelves. Oh my! So yes, still got Darkwater, Space Marines, Dragons. That's my wife's Alarios, so don't have to worry about that. What have we got down here? Necromunda, all the Stormcast Eternals that I need to work on. The rest of Darkwater to finish. Skaven that I need to finish. Star Wars Shatterpoint behind there, and then all the Necromunda terrain. Ugh. It's not bad. It's just a pile of potential that I need to work on. That's all it is. Right, I'm going to leave folks there, and I'm going to go back and get stuck into some hobbies. So I will see you folks very, very soon. Bye for now.